everybody! Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. It's been over a month since we last did this. My goodness. So welcome everybody, welcome back. I hope you've not been too sad about the gap we've had with the Adventures of the Wine dataset. My goodness, I remember, where did we last leave this? We were looking at the wine descriptions, weren't we? And we were trying to see what we could do to remove the various stop words and things in there. So it feels like a lifetime ago. So I hope whilst we had this gap, you all took advantage of Summer of Nodes and had a go at it. So just for entertainment, actually. Sort of on the chat, how many people had a go at the Summer of Nodes challenges before we get started with the wine stuff? I'm going to say I did because I was creating a lot of the challenges, so I had a go. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. Any others? A quick straw poll to see what's going on before we get started. Aha! Oh yes. Oh my goodness, that was like a lifetime ago. I feel like next year we'll have to have a wine-related Summer of Nodes challenge. We'll have to think of something. We'll have to keep that in mind. But anyway, so yes, that's what happened. That's where we had our gap. But that's all right. We're back. We're going to have a look back at the wine data set. So let's get cracking. So I was umming about what we're going to do, and I know we've got a massive checklist of things we want to do. I'm really keen for us to start having some play with the review stuff. Obviously we've got the wine reviewers who've sampled things, and there's lots of fun around that. We've got some prices for some of the wines, so I think we can have a bit of fun around the correlation with the prices and the reviews. Is there something interesting there or not? I don't know. Maybe this is how we can find ourselves a bargain wine. And we'll have a host of things from that. And I know as well there have been requests around, can we use GraphQL with this? And there's certainly a bunch of things that I want to have a play with. So we've got a lot of stuff. So we'll be looking at that during the next few weeks. But one thing that was bugging me was the description words. So I don't know if you remember when we've looked through them. When we did the initial load, we just used a comma for splitting. And the challenge that we've had with that is we had a bunch of words where there were commas but no space, we split it with space. So there was a comma but no space between the commas. We had words where you had the sort of accents in them, possessives, that's fine. We had words where you had long hyphen, short hyphen. And the slight fly in the ointment with that stuff is we ended up with some really long words, so like sort of, 20, 30 character long words, or, sort of a sentence mashed into one word. And it made some of our data quite messy. And then, we were looking at the plurals and similarity. And I was thinking, well, you know what might be a good idea? Let's take a step back and let's just redo it. And then now we've got the knowledge, so we know some of the things to look out for. So let's do that. So what I'm suggesting we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all the description words. So that's fine because we've learned through this process. So we've learned how to split them. We've learned some of the challenges that come up with that. So I thought, let's do that. Let's take a step back. We'll get rid of them. And then we're going to deal with all the splitters as best as we know how. So we're going to re-import that data. We're then going to use word similarities. This is similar to what we've done before. So this is all, this should all be familiar ground. So we're going to look at word similarity for fuzzy matching. We're going to do it, but just, comparing two words and going, is there a few character differences? Can we group them the same? And that's going to help us get rid of the plurals. And then we can reapply the list of stop words and verbs to remove what's left. And I think what would be really interesting as well, I'm probably not going to cover it now, but it's something I want to go away and research and think about how we come back. So a lot of you have mentioned, can we use something around NLP to help this work? And certainly you've got things as well around word2vec, where you're looking at the relationship of words together to try and pull out the subject. I think that would be great fun as well to have a look at some point. Can we apply that to get some useful information? So word2vec's quite an interesting one because I think that's been used quite a few times. I think NASA used it for their was that one or I can't remember. No, the other one, LDAs that they use. So LDA is another one I want to have a look at, where they use that to try and summarise articles to pick out key topics around the article, around the the knowledge in their knowledge base and be able to link together. So I think this is a great opportunity to have some fun. So we're not going to do it in this session, but definitely over the next couple of weeks, I am super keen to have a look at that, because this is a great sort of playground to have a play with this data. Certainly something that we understand. It's quite easy for us to understand this data, so we can just see what's going on when we run these various algorithms and techniques. But for now, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to do this one, and then what I'm hoping to do, because I think we've got something like 30,000 odd word description words, and they're all heavily sort of connected. And I think it'd be quite nice if what we can do is try and get that down to a sensible number. Because I think, is it something like 10,000 words or something in English language are in common use? So if we can pare that right down to just things like flavours or aromas, so things like, pine, cherry. Cherry was a popular one. We had one that had chives, that kind of thing. So cloves, not chives. That would be a very interesting smelling wine. So cloves. So can we do something so we can bring that right down? So we're only down to, say, the few thousand descriptive words, and those are the things that we can use to do recommendations based on certain flavour profiles, rather than all the verbs and other descriptive words that we have in there. So let's get cracking with that. So we've got here browser, handy, and let's just, as a quick reminder, how many of these description words do we have? So let's do match n, return labels n, count n as C, order by C. So this is just going to get all of the node labels that we've got in our database. And get description word. So this was, I think originally we were up at around 70,000 words or something. So we've got it down to 31,000 words. That's still a lot of words. So what we're going to do is, I think, let's just get rid of all of those. So we've got it documented in the GitHub repo, so you can always follow through, and everything that I do here, I put it up there so you can step through with me and have a go. But so I'm thinking the easiest thing to do here is to get rid of the description word and then put it back. And I've just spotted designation. So at some point, we looked at designation. That was stuff that was made up. But yeah, so let's have a go at that, and let's just sort out description word. So I think what I want to do first, before we delete everything, is let's get an inventory of some of the splitter characters. So if I bring up the data model, and again, if you've got any questions about what I'm doing, or you're not sure why I'm doing something, ping them in the chat. If you're going, no, seriously, Lou, you need to do it like this, again, ping it in the chat. I'm keeping an eye. So if you've got any thoughts or questions, drop them in and we'll follow through them as we go through the session. Okay, so we had some crazy sized description words. So let's do this. So let's do match description word, and let's do return. This is when I can't remember, I think we said it was, what did we have for description word? Let's just quickly bring up a sample. So description word, our property is value, okay. And for description, what did we say? Is it value again? Oops. Value. Okay, that's nice and easy. So let's just do this. So just as a reminder, we had some really long words. So let's do description of value. That's V, order by size, V, descending. And let's just limit this to the first 20. So let's just get the 20 longest words. So you can see some of these, you can see that these will have, these are several words that have been mashed together. So if we just map to see what's going on there. So what I suggest we do, so we had in our data, we never called the data model up, did we? Right. Let's do, okay, so we've got description, word comes off of description. Okay, perfect. So let's do this. So that goes into its description word to the description. And what we want to do is we want to do that, and then I'm going to use a description as a reference to see, well, what were the separators that we missed, a word splitter. So d.value. Oh, and this, oopsie daisy. Let's just value. I have to say I've missed this. I've been yearning to be working with this data set. I've been having so much fun with this. I hope you've all been finding this enjoyable as well. There we go. So look at this. We've got this long hyphen. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a note. I've got my handy notepad here. So I'm just going to copy all of the splitters that we have. So we've got that one. Look at it. Look at this hyphen and a question mark. Oh my goodness. So the question mark I'm less worried about, because what we can do, if you recall, we've got the APOC clean text. So apoc.text.clean, and that gets rid of all the punctuation and things left over. So I'm not too worried about the question marks as long as they don't create sentences, but we'll have a look when we go through this. So that was a long hyphen there. So we've got a series of long hyphens. That's caused a bit of a problem. We've got that long hyphen again. What have we got here? Accomplishment. Sometimes again is that cheeky long hyphen. Here we've got a comma with no space. So I'm just going to capture that we have a comma as well. And then what we'll do is, just to make sure we've pulled out the splitters, we'll do a second query where we're going to go through everything and just exclude what we think are the splitters, and just make sure we've grabbed the obvious ones. Okay. So long hyphen, lots of long hyphen. Long hyphen. I think long hyphen is going to feature a lot here, so let us get rid of the long hyphen for now. So I'm going to rewrite this query where oh, this is dangerous because we may miss some other splitters, but let's live life on the edge and just assume everything's going to be fine. So if I do the following, so we say where not dw.value contains, and I'm going to say the long hyphen, which we copied, or I copied, so let me just copy and paste that back in. I'm just going to grab a copy of this query so we can remember what we looked at. Okay, right, so what comes back? This might be a bit of a slow query because I don't have... Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. That was way faster than I thought it was going to be. This is interesting. Oh, you know what I did? It should be description, not the description word. There we go. That's where we went wrong. So run this again. Hopefully it's not going to be too slow. It might be slow because I don't... because we don't have any indexes set up on the description, which we spoke about last time. The reason why we wouldn't have the description put on an index on the description is because we're not, I mean, this is a one-off where we're looking at sort of text cleaning, but because we're not typically, you know, we're not doing a search on this, so we don't need to bother with putting an index on there. So that's why I've not done that. So there we go. So got rid of most of the long hyphen. So here we go. Remember we had this comma without space. So let's have a look what's going on here. Oh, that is actually the one word. Ooh, I'm gonna have to look this up at some point. I don't know what this Trockenbeeren Olzel. I've probably completely butchered that word. Ooh, we'll have to have a quick peek at that later because I'm intrigued. I'm just gonna copy and paste that for a cheeky Google later. Okay, so that is actually a long word, so that's fine. That's nothing unexpected. Again, uncharacteristically, these are all expected words. There's that word again. I am going to have a look at that. Anybody knows in the chat? Chuck it in the chat. Ah, it's a German type. Cool. So look, so here I think this is a normal hyphen that's snuck in. So let's grab a copy of that. So, yeah, it's a normal hyphen. So I had really great fun. So I'm going off on a tangent here. Trocken means dry. Look at this. I'm learning some fun stuff here. Thank you very much, everybody. Fun story. So for week 2 of Summer of Nodes, we had Explorer Museum. If you've not had a look at the week 2 of Summer of Nodes, that's really great fun because we took a load of the catalogue data from the Museum of Art in New York, and they've got this fantastic, like, you've got descriptions, you have the artwork titles, what materials they're made with, like what era they came from, who's the artist, when were they born, etc. Like really, really fantastic data set, and it's really great. And the really nice thing as well is you've got all the URLs, so you can click on them and see the pictures. So it's great fun. So if you've not had a look, have a look at the Summer of Node stuff, and it's really great. Like I said, week 2 is great. But fun thing is I was splitting out the mediums, like is it made with, painted on canvas with gold paint and that kind of thing. Oh my goodness, they had so many different kinds of hyphens. It was great fun trying to pinpoint them all. But anyway, I digress. So we've got the hyphen here. Straightforwardness, that's fine. Characteristically, disproportionately. These are all words we expect. What's happened is Sangiovese. That's the normal hyphen, so... non-true, oh no, okay, I've learnt a new English word as well. Non-interventionist. Okay, right, so let's just quickly pull those ones out as well. Why not? So what we can do, I should just be lazy. I was going to use did I want to do scissors and erase it in, or should I just be lazy? Let's just this way. And not d-value contains short hyphen. I think that's probably going to be all of the ones. And let's do the limit to hundreds. We can just quickly scan through those, and then we can feel reasonably confident we're going through. And you know what? Let's do the comma as well. Why not? This is going to be like crazy slow, so I apologise again. We don't have an index on the text, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer, but that's fine. We're in no rush. We're just going to have quick, just making sure. Oh, really? That was fast. That's service with a smile, isn't it? I like this. Right, okay, let's have a quick look what we've got here. Let's make this a bit bigger. All right, okay, this is nothing unexpected. Oh, come on then. I've got another one for you. I can see we've got some German wine fans here. So I look forward to a description of that one as well. No, you can't laugh in the comments. You have to give me a description. It's a type of grape. Excellent. Okay, so these are all good. Good. Like everything is. This is all. These are just long English words. We can live with this. Super refreshing. One word. Wow. I suspect what's happened with some of these, and that's going to be a fun one that we're going to be looking at today, I reckon, as well, is you will spot that some of these words, they've forgotten to put a space in the space in the sentence. So we're going to do some of these things and get rid of them. Oh, you know what? I do love a good German white wine as well. I do love them. I used to get through a lot of white German wines when I was at university. I love them. Haven't had one in a while. I have to pick one up. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna stop pulling out the German grapes. It's all good. We'll have to try them. Okay, so this is all, just having a quick eyeball. This all looks pretty good to me. This is all fine. So I think we've picked out our candidate splitters. So one thing I was just thinking I want to have a look at is apostrophes. So let's do that quickly. Oh, Austrian. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. It is Friday, I think. Maybe we'll have a glass of wine later. Okay, so let's have a quick look at where we've got some apostrophes to see what happens. Oh, this is an excellent data set. Oh, absolutely. You can see why I just want to spend lots of time on this. It's so much fun. I'm learning so much about wines as well. Let's have a look. So let's do dw dot, oh no, we'll do description value contains, and let's have a look for an apostrophe. This should work. So let's see we've got that. So let's just have a look at some of these. Now this value by v, ignore the sizing, we don't care about that. We just want to bring back some values with description words because I just want to see what happens. Actually, I just realised we probably should have done this a bit differently because how we're going to map. Let's leave it for now. I assume this is going to be okay. So let's park that for now. I think this is good enough. So if you recall, we've got, so description word has some very dense relationships. So description word to description will have a lot of very dense relationships. So you can think about words like and, which we did get rid of, so that's why you won't have them. But I think like cherry was really popular, and you have like loads of cherries connecting back to description words. So what we're going to do is we're going to use APOC periodic commit to delete all of the our description words. We're going to start again. So let's do that now. So let's live life dangerously and delete all of those words. And we may end up going back to the blog post to just check what other things we did, but that's all good. So let's have a look now. So let's do call APOC dot periodic dot commit, and we're going to wrap this up because if you recall, we've got some really dense description word nodes. So if you think about really common words like characteristic, that was one that appeared a lot, wasn't it? And you think characteristically, that's going to be a very common word that's used when you're describing a wine. And that's got like thousands of connections to all the descriptions. So we've got 120,000 wines, and you can easily imagine like 50% of those you use the word characteristic in the description. So we've got some quite dense nodes going on there. So what we want to do is just carefully delete them, because otherwise we just bring the entire graph into memory, and that's going to be slow, and we don't want to do that. You know, we're on a mission here. So let's do this. So I'm just going to wrap my query. So I'm going to do match the description word. And then what I want to do with that, I'm going to say with dw limit, and I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. So I'm going to limit detach delete dw. Okay, so that's our query that we're going to use to delete our nodes. And then what I need to do is I need to provide some parameter to this, and I'll explain what's going on. So limit, let's say 20. No, let's go with 10. That's fine, because we've got some very dense nodes in there. So just quickly explain what's going on here. So if you find yourself, so for those of you who are relatively new to Neo4j, maybe you've had a go at the movie graph database, and you spotted at the end it goes, right, and now you can delete your database, and you have a phrase that says match n detach delete n. So that works great if you've got a relatively small data set. However, if you've got like loads of densely connected nodes or loads of data, you want to do some kind of iteration process. So that's what we're going to do with periodic commit, because otherwise what happens is it's going to bring everything into memory, and you think about it, if you're deleting stuff with relationships, it's going to be applying locks on various things, and it's quite expensive. And what we're saying is, well, actually we can like pass a window. So when we're doing these deletes, or if let's say we're updating relationship types or whatever, we can just put a little window and we go, well, actually, we just want to do a little window, and here my window is 10, so I'm just going to pull 10 of these description word nodes and then do something with them. I can apply a little window, and I keep running my window across all of this. And what APOC periodic commit does is it goes, well, okay, I'll give you my cipher query, so here it is, and you always have to return, you need to be able to let the procedure know when to exit. So here what it does, it waits until you return 0, and when you return 0 it goes, right, my job here is done, I'm finished. So that's what we're doing. So here we're limiting 10, and what will happen is it will eventually return 0 when we can no longer match in description words. So that's fine. And then here we just specify limits. So this is where this is my parameterized value here, and then this is where I specify the value. So that's what's going on there. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to grab a copy of that. So remember what we did and get that going. And that should be pretty fast. So we're going to do that. Again, if you've got any questions, just as a quick question. So I know we've got quite a few regulars. I know there's a lot of you who have been following the wine saga, this fantastic, beautiful, beautiful wine saga. Just out of curiosity, are there any newish people here who, quite new to Neo4j, you've just accidentally bumped onto the channel? I'm just out of curiosity, or are we all just the regulars here? I love you regulars, by the way, but if we've got any new people, just put a shout in the chat. I'm just curious, actually. Whilst that's executed. Oh, that's taking a bit longer than I was thinking it was going to do. Let me have a quick look as to why. It could well be that we've got some large, dense nodes. So if I do, if I go back to my previous crew, I'm lazy with all my labels. I should probably delete some of these. So where are we? So we've got 31,000. So if I just quickly update that. Oh yeah, they're going down. So it's probably, the reason why I was being a bit slow is because there are some very, oh look, it's finished. Aha, look at that. 84 seconds. There were some really dense nodes in there. So let's say we've got 120,000 odd wines in there, and you've probably got some words where 60% of all of those 120,000 descriptions have got that word in there. So there were some very dense nodes in there. So that's why it takes a little bit longer with that, but that's all good. So we are sorted there. So we've done that. So let's bring back in those words. So what we're going to do is I'm going to refer, let's get this repo up, and oh, look at that, description fun. It was fun. So what did we do? So this is where, so we don't need to do this because we've already we already have the descriptions in there, so we're just reusing data we've got. So this is where we tokenized the words. I used periodic iterate, that works as well. I look at that, we had 71,000, so in fact we got it down to 31,000. Was a very good effort. Let's have a look. So that was our splitters. Look at all of the stuff that we did to clean up. My goodness, this feels like an adventure ago. Oh my goodness, all of this fun stuff we had. Oh look, we got rid of the numbers and everything. This is a blast from the past. Okay, so right, okay, let's do this. So let's follow the hand instructions. I'm all for not reinventing the wheel. So this is what we used, and now that remember what we have, and I think I'm going to not use the clean for now, just so that we don't miss any sneaky characters, because maybe we might want to investigate those. So let's bring this up. Welcome, Eduardo. Yes, I'm really pleased to hear that you're learning Neo4j. I don't know if it's helpful. So I did do a session on Wednesday where I did like complete sort of brand new to, if you're brand new to Neo4j, like a complete crash course from, wire graphs, how can you spot a good place to use them, and then like some hands-on stuff. So we did like a code along so you can follow through. So I don't know if that's of interest, but that video for that should be going onto YouTube soon. So that might be useful as well to just follow through. And absolutely, if you follow through the wine series as well, that should help you with thinking about how to load data and sort of work with data models and that kind of thing. So hopefully that helps. And yeah, give us a shout as well. If you've got any questions, let me know. Okay, so we've got our, oh my goodness, I remember now, and I was doing the regex as well. So let's add a few extra bits in here. So we said we've got comma as well. So let's put in a comma for that. And we had the long hyphen too, didn't we? So let me just copy my long hyphen here. Oops, put it in here. And I'm not going to clean it, but I am going to lower it. So I'm going to make everything to lower. And then we can always do the clean bit afterwards. But I want to make sure we don't miss any sneaky, other sneaky characters, because this might be helpful for us if we're trying to get rid of plurals. So we can do cheat things where we look for the apostrophe and that kind of thing. So let's do to lower. I'll just grab a quick copy of this query. Okay, right, so let's run this. And we could have done this with the periodic commit as well. I can't remember why I did periodic iterate. Much of a muchness. So what else did we do? So we got rid of those because we said no. Okay, let me... whilst this is running, I'll see if I can find you a sneaky link, Eduardo, for the... because we've got like the big marker session. I think another option you can do is register that and pull the video back. So let's see what magic we can do whilst we're going through the session. Right, okay, so where are we? This is... So let it do its thing. So what did we do? Let's remember together. So we did the splitting, and you remember we attached the description word onto the description. And oh yeah, we had a bunch of numbers, so we're going to get rid of those because you know we had like years and things, and that's not particularly helpful description, so we'll get rid of those as well. Let's wait for the data to load, so we'll do that. And we also got rid of so things with just words. Let's get rid of that. No, sorry, numbers. We don't want to keep. No, we want to keep the words. Words are important. And we... what else did we do? Oh yes, I remember this. And I think anything that had like bulk of numbers, we just got rid of those. Oh yes, and then we had a look at the size. Oh, it's bringing back memories. And then we did some stuff we cleaned up. So we're going to rerun all of that stuff. So we'll do that. Whilst that's doing that, so let's see if I can find the... Aha! So this is for you, Eduardo. Let me just see if you can, if this is still useful to pull the... Have a look. I'm just going to pop it in the chat now. So see if you can register. So if it allows you to register to that, Eduardo, I've just put the link in. Then you should be able to rewatch the video. If not, keep an eye on the our YouTube channel, so youtube.com/near4j, and it should appear in there soon. Oh yes, doing ETL. Oh yes, I do a lot of. I like to do a lot of wrangling with sort of wrangling of the data with Near4j. So I think it's, whilst obviously in certain situations it makes sense to use specific tools and things like that, I think it's really good as well to just sort of be familiar with what's going on and how things are running. So I'm just going to do what I like to do, is just see a count of how many of these labels have come in. So let's match the description word and just do a count, see what's going on. Oh, okay, so it might take a little while. So remember, we've got quite a few of these, and what you've got to bear in mind is, remember, we've got potentially got some very dense nodes here. So again, you've got some words we're going to be like and is probably going to be in pretty much every single description. So we're going to have to get rid of those in a bit, but you can see why this might be taking a little time. So if you've got any questions, now's a good time whilst we're waiting for this to finish. Bring your questions. It was 71,000. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a lot of a lot of nodes. Okay, so what did we do last time as well? So we did that. I'm gripped. I wrote this and I'm gripped about what we did last time for the descriptions. Oh yes, we talked about the sizes of the words. So this thing here, this is what we're fixing now. So you notice that we've got some really long, so we had like 36, we had 18 words that were 36 characters long, and that was because we had the funny hyphen and all that stuff. So that's what we're fixing now. Let's say I said we needed to redo this as well. We're going to do that, and we got rid of all that. We made the assumption that anything that was less than 4 characters was probably a stop word, but we did have that stop list. So we're going to use that list of stop words to remove it, because that's going to be a bit more elegant way of doing that. And then we're going to do the similarity to get rid of some of the duplicates. So, all that to look forward to shortly. Where are we at the moment? 45. That's okay. That is all good. We are getting there. Oh, so I'm just trying to think. What else? I feel like now is a good wine looking time, but we're not going to do that. We're going to resist. So, what we could do whilst that is churning away is we can have a look at what are our long words so far, or we could do a regex to find something that doesn't have a numerical value. Let's have a think about this. What could we do? Let's have a look at our good friend, the let's have a look at our text functions. So I've just picked a point in there. Let's go text. Well, let's have a look at this one. Let's have a quick peek at this one. I'm curious now. This is something my colleague Mark Needham's been working on. Oh. Okay, maybe I'm gonna be good. I'll look at that next time. So we should have a section here. Text, no. Let's look for. I should jump into the manual. There you go. If in doubt, just there we go. Text function. So this is the section that I wanted. Where is it hiding? It doesn't matter. Okay. So what we're going to have a look. So I wanted to do. So we've got replace. We've also got text groups. I'm just trying to think. Can we do? Or maybe we can do the searching with normal cipher. Oh, we're done. Look at that. All right. So how many words do we have this time around? 47. Oh wow. So this is really, really relevant. So last time when we didn't realise about the comma and the long hyphen splitters, we had something like 70,000 words, and just by sorting that out, we've just saved a lot of effort. So there's a lot to be said about just taking a step back and redoing it rather than trying to fix it, fix it from a less than ideal import. So that's great. So that's happy days about that. And okay, so what do we say? We looked at the numbers last time, didn't we? So let's go back to the numbers. How many of these did we have? Oops. Let's have a quick look what this looked like. There we go, look at this. Lots of years, lots of percentages. So that's going to be a fun thing. I think we talked about this last time. So we did this thing where, you'll probably remember this because I got very excited about this. How when we went to the variety, we had like red blend. But what we managed to do is we used the other variety grapes that we had, like as reference data, we then went to description to then figure out what were the blends. So we could basically take red blend and just say what the varieties were. So that was great. That was week 8, I think. So if you're thinking, what is she talking about? Check out week 8. Oh, that was a great week in the repo. And what would be really fun at some point is how we figure out to extract the percentages. So these will be like, presumably it's going to be like 85% Cabernet Sauvignon or something like that. It'd be good to extract those because that might be interesting in the future. So we'll have a think about how we do that in the future. But for now, I'm going to wave all of these cheerio. So let's, reuse the query that we had. So we're going to get rid of anything with a number in it. How many of these came back in the end? Oh, 1,000, right, yeah, they're all going. Goodbye. So, get rid of all of those. Oh, 2,000. This is when I get a little bit nervous and I realise, no, it should be fine. Whoops, I don't look for all of those. I'm sure it's fine. Okay, right. So we got rid of the numbers. And we've got the size word. So this should be fine now because we've got rid of those. And then what did we do next was the similarity. So let's do that. So let me talk, for those of you who are new to this, let's talk through what's going on here. So, I just made this a bit smaller. Okay, so let's just talk through a little bit about what's going on. So, when we were doing the split, so for those of you quite new, we were using the merge keyword, and we've got an index on the description word, and we're using merge, and merge is a bit like an upsert. So effectively what we're saying is if that word, if that description word didn't already exist, we create a new node for it. If it does exist, then we just, use it as a match and do stuff with it. So that's great for making sure the identical word doesn't go in, but the challenge that we have is we're not dealing with plural. So this was a little trick that we did where we're looking for words where, and this is because we've got so many words, we've got like 46,000 words or something crazy in there. So we don't want to compare every single to everything. So we're trying to cap it slightly. We're saying where words are between 7 and 10 characters long, where they start with the same letter, and then we're doing Levenstein similarity on them to see them. So what we're trying to do is try and tackle some of those plurals. So let's just run this to see what happens. Because when we tackle the plurals, then we can have a go at dealing with all of those fun stop words. So this will be quite slow. So let's let it run for a little while. We might need to rewrite that, but that is fine. I think we should rewrite that. That's probably a bit of a hefty query. Well, what we certainly can do is try and match a couple of words. So let's just have a quick look. Is there something in APOC that allows us to easily compare first bits of words? Oh, we had fun with the phonetic matching as well. I remember, this is all flooding back to me. Oh, we had some fun. This is all overkill. Alright, so that's going to take a long time, so I think we will stop that for now, because that's going to take a while. And what we're going to do is, because you can have a bunch of words where they're going to be identical but from the endings. So I'm just trying to think what's a sensible way to do this. So we probably, let me remind myself how many words have we got that are less than 4 characters. I think we had quite a few of these. So let's have a quick look. So let's do where size d1.value is less than 4, turn count d1. Okay, not that many. So what we can do is let's just return what they are to see if there's anything major. Quick eyeball. So return d1.value order by d1.value. Oh gosh, look at that. So we probably, so this is actually really, really helpful because we can probably have a look now. So this was serendipitous. We can probably have a look for words that, like with characters that start with the brackets, because we've not done a splitter on those. So we probably can deal with a bunch of those. So that's useful. So okay, we can get rid of anything that's like 2 characters. So before we do the magical delete all of these, let's have a look. So we can look for ampersand. So do we have any words containing an ampersand or percent or brackets? So this is why I didn't do the APOT text cling. So I wanted to keep these because this sort of gives us a hint if we've missed something else out. So starting with a question mark plus. Oh wow, okay, there's quite a few of these that we could have inadvertently missed. So I'm just trying to think, what is the if we bring up let's bring up Cypher. Just go into the docs page. So let's have a look at Cypher. I just want to see. I can't off the top of my head remember if we can do a regex pattern search. So I'm just going to quickly remind myself. String functions, that's the one we're looking for. Let's have a look. Oh, we can use left. Okay, cool. Is this in? Oh, there we go. We're going to be using left in a bit as well to do some matching. That will probably make way more sense than what I was doing. Don't want replace, don't want reverse, don't want right. Okay, so it's not in here. Let's have a look for contains. I've got a mention in here. No, I don't think we can do that. Okay, that's fine. We will use APOC for this. So what do we want to use? Use regex groups. Let's do regex groups. Okay, so I'm just trying to, so I'm probably like the world's worst regex person, so bear with me as I fumble through this. Again, if any regex gurus are watching, by all means, shout out. So what I want to do is I'm just going to try and find everything where I want to return anything where we've got words that have got a non-alpha character. So remember, we got rid of all the numerical ones. So anything that had a number in it, we've already said goodbye to. So, oh, that just reminded me. I wrote myself an example, didn't I? So that's what I should use. Look at that. There we go. Let's just not reinvent the wheel. So A to Z. So this should all be in lowercase. So that should be fine. Oh, we want to say not. So I think it's a hat, isn't it, to say not. Yeah, I think it's that. Let's have a quick go. What's the worst that can happen? Alright, it's not number obviously, it's a character. But let's see what happens. It'll either work or it won't work. Okay, it's not what I wanted it to do. Oh yes, perfect. Right, oh look at this, all the dots, all the dots. Oh my goodness. Right, I'm going to give this a sensible name, as char. So we don't get confused. Okay, right, so how many of these have we actually got? Is this going to be a gold mine of cleanup? Oops. But it does say here you've got 17. Oh my goodness, 17,000. That's huge. Right, we definitely need to fix those. So this is has char. Okay, right. So we've got quite a few of these, so this is problematic. So I suspect that if we, so it's dot. Oh my goodness, this is when English language gets fun as well. So we know we've got 17,000 here, and we've got the brackets and things. So what we can do is let's see how many of these do we already have in the existing one. So let's say this is basically doing our thing to find it. So with D, that's with so what I'm doing is just seeing how many of these already exist when we clean them up. Value val. Oops. So let's just see how big a problem is this. Probably quite a large problem, to be honest with you. Wow. Okay, so we've got 13,000 out of our 17,000 already exist. So what we can probably do is let's get rid of all of the ones that match because we know they already exist. And then we've got to do this thing where we detach the relationship and reconnect it onto the one that exists and so forth. So bear with me whilst we do this. So what we're going to do is got the vowel. We want to keep D because we're going to do stuff with it. And we want the relationship to description because we're going to replumb things. Description word 2. So what I'm going to do here is because we still need to keep the word connected, description word connected to description. So we're going to delete the dodgy ones where we've mapped to a clean one, and we're going to disconnect them from their existing description, and then just map the one that matches onto their existing description, if that makes sense. Shout if it doesn't. Okay, right, let's do this then. So what we're going to do is we're going to do create description word 2. Connect it up onto the existing description. And then we're going to say detach, delete, description word 1. Right, so we're going to... Yeah, okay, that should be fine. Famous last words, that should all be fine. Oh, just got a little bit ahead of myself, don't want to do that. Okay, right. I don't need this bit, do I? Just that. Okay, cool. I don't know if any of you have come across this UK TV show called Pointless, but basically what happens is they go off and they survey they survey a bunch of people. So they'll ask something like, name films that Sean Connery has acted in or something like that. And then what they try to do is you then have these contestants, and the contestants have to try and guess which film that Sean Connery in that had the fewest number of people that answered it. And ideally you want to try and get the film titles that nobody has put in, so that's a pointless answer. But anyway, what they do is they have this little scoreboard which is at 100 and it sort of ticks all the way down to 0. And I just sort of feel like every time I run a cipher query, it's kind of like the start point of that scoreboard. I'm waiting to see whether I've created a valid query, because otherwise it just goes and the thing flashes red, otherwise it ticks down. So I think some of you are thinking, what is she talking about? But it was just, have a look at Pointless. It's a very fun game show. Okay, so I may well have to rewrite this because we've probably got some dense nodes in here again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repackage this in periodic commit. Okay, so that's my... Oh, I'm going to do it with the single quotes as we've got this going on. And let's do limit 10. Let's keep it small again. And I just need to do limit. Okay, right. Let's do this. Hopefully that should be fine. and then we will have a look at the ones that didn't have a match and see if we need to get rid of those. So I'll give that one to run again. I was going to say, for those of you who are doing a bit of stuff with APOC or have done or are a bit curious, my colleague Michael Hunger's recently done a Twitch stream on APOC. So if you go to our YouTube Near4J channel and you click on playlists, you'll see a playlist that says Twitch catch up. So if you click on that, you'll find it in there. So that may well be of interest to you if you're going, ooh, that APOC stuff, that looks exciting. Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, so if we rerun this should come back to 0. If everything worked well, oh, there we go, 0. Okay, fantastic. So if we now rerun this query, oh yeah, so top tip, if you want to rerun a query without clicking the thing in, you have this little picture here of like a, I don't know what the technical name for it, refresh one. So you just click on that and it'll rerun your query. Okay, so unsurprisingly, all of the plurals or most of the plurals have come back. So you can see like blanks and blank, adornment. So I assume there isn't a blanks on its own. Oh no, hang on, why have we got 17,000? We should have... Well, this is slightly concerning. What did we just get rid of? The drama. Oh wow, okay. Let's rerun this one. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm not sure what's happened here, so I may have to do a bit of digging. Oh, I know what's happened. I know what's happened. I made a mistake in my query. Oh no. No, this should be fine. Let's have a quick look at let's just double check what's going on here. But this should be fine. So we're matching all of the description words where they have... Where basically, you know, the length changes because we replaced the non-special characters with something. Although this would have worked fine even within numbers. Okay, that's beside the point. Okay. Then we matched the value to pull up the equivalent description words that existed. We created a relationship between the matched description word and the existing description, and then we deleted the old word. So, okay. Let's pick an example. So we had... I can't imagine there's lots of words with drama in them, but let's just do that. Let's quick look. Match description word where dw dot value contains. We just said drummer, didn't we? Turn description word. So we've got drummer. Oh, okay. Got semicolon and full stop. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got gonna have a bit of fun here where we've got words ending with different symbols. So maybe, and this is probably, so maybe we might, I think this may be Lou goes away and finds all of the special characters and retweaks certain bits. But let's do it quickly. So I think what we're going to do is probably delete all the description words again. I know, it's all fine. And let's just put a list of all of the characters in there that we want to split by. Excluding the apostrophe, but things like semicolon, full stop. What else did we have in here that was... Oh, brackets, let's not forget the brackets. So let's do all of those. Oh, sneaky full stop. Let's do that, that's fine. That's not going to take very long for us to do that. And let's see what happens next. So that's fine. So this is all relatively quick. We can do this. So let's go back and remove all of these ones again. And then we just re-import them again. We know what we're doing. It's all good. It's all good. Right. Okay, let's get rid of everything again. And let's put in all of our whilst that's deleted. Okay, so I'm sure there's a better way of doing this. If somebody knows, do shout. I will gratefully take all suggestions when it comes to regex. We said full stop was in there. We said comma. Oh, semicolon. Let's not forget the semicolon. We said why not? Let's go for broke. Ampersand. Let's go for plus. What else featured in our list? Dots. We've got to do the dots. We're just leaving in the. We're going to leave the apostrophes in because those would be useful for us to do some kind of comparisons for plural. I think that's most of them, and then we can always we know the drill. All right, let's do that then. Okay, it's all good. We'll let that run. So I'm thinking, let's see how this gets on, but I'm thinking maybe I'm going to end up having a play with this. I'll write it up, and we're going to leave the description words for now because I think we want to do some fun things. So I think I'm going to go away and do the last run through of this. So hopefully you've seen some fun things we can do about this. And again, we've covered this before in the repo, so have a look at the notes for that. So I'm thinking maybe it makes sense for me to go away and tweak all the various things, and then I can write it up and tell you what I did. So all of that's updated for you, and then we can have a little bit of fun next time. So just a quick comment, I am going to be moving these to Monday, so same time, but we're just going to move it to Monday. If you've got any questions now, I guess quick question, if you've got any general questions you want me to answer whilst I re-import with the ever-growing length of characters to exclude, let me know, pop them in chat, we can go through those. Otherwise, I think we will call it a day. And then we'll do something fun. I'm gonna have a little think about what we can do. Something a bit different. Maybe we can do something with the ratings. Maybe we can have a go with some GraphQL stuff. I don't know, I'll have a think. So if you've got any preferences, let me know. Either drop it in, sort of tweet me at @LLazal. So I'll stick the slide up with my Twitter handle on there. So drop me a tweet on that, or stick a comment on the GitHub repo, or put a comment in the YouTube video. We'll pick it up somehow. So if you've got any particular requests to do with the wine data, or you've got any questions, let me know. So otherwise, I'll be hovering around on the chat for a bit, so if you've got any particular questions. But otherwise, leave this with me. I'm going to do the last of the cleanup, because I think I can do that offline, and then I'll put the updates in the repo, and we'll catch up next time. And as a quick reminder, if you're finding these streams fun, if you're quite new, what I suggest you do is follow us on the Twitch stream. So that's twitch.tv/Neo4j_, and then you'll get notified when we go live. So I tend to do Mondays. My colleague Adam does Tuesdays, so he does a lot of stuff about building web applications with Neo4j. My colleague Michael Hunger is on Wednesdays, and he tends to cover stuff around APOC and drivers, and currently he's also been doing some coverage about Nodes 2020, which is our huge online conference. It's completely free. Do have a look, check that out. And on Thursdays, my colleague Will Lyon does a lot of stuff around GraphQL and GrandStack, so that's really worth having a look at. And again, if you want to catch up on any of our stuff, do check out our Twitch playlist on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/Neo4j and click on the playlists, you will find a Twitch catch-up one there. So hopefully this was, and if nothing else, the banter and learning about German wines I thought was brilliant, and all the German grapes. I'm going to be keeping a very eager eye out next time I go to the wine aisle in the supermarket to see what's going on. So I'll see you all soon. So keep an eye on the repo, and I'll do the updates there, and have a wonderful day. Take care.